I am so excited to be talking to the two of you. So on the show today, Liv Constantine, aka Lynne and Valerie, writing together under the pen name. Hello, ladies.
Hello, thanks for having us here.
It's great to be here.
Before we talk about what I could say is my favorite book that I read this year, I have to talk about the fact that you guys are sisters 14 years apart, right?
Yes.
That's right.
So my sister and I are 12 years apart, and I didn't know about your relationship. Well, when I first read the book, I didn't even know that you were two people. So that was one thing. And then I read about your story, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk to them. Like, you're just like me and my sister. And so it's just really cool. I love that you did this together, and I think it's so interesting. Like, I can't wait to hear about the process. But before we get into that, talk to me about the book that I was telling everybody to read, the book that got me through the beginning hard part of quarantine, The Last Mrs. Parrish. Brief synopsis without giving anything away.
So The Last Mrs. Parrish tells the story of a woman named Amber who is very tired of being a nobody, and she decides that she's going to change her life, and the way she's going to do that is by infiltrating the life of Daphne Parrish by becoming her friend. And you know from the beginning of the book that that's her plan, but you don't know much beyond that much about her past. And the story continues as she becomes close to Daphne and you see her plan unfold. And of course, things unfold in a way that's unexpected. So half of the book is from Amber's perspective, and the other half is from Daphne, the wife's perspective. And we have to say we had a lot of fun. It was probably our most fun book to write, wouldn't you say, Valerie?
I would say absolutely. Yeah. We had a great time writing it. It was really fun,
yeah.
Which writing should be. It should be a fun job.
You might be excited to learn that we that a prequel to The Last Mrs. Parrish is coming out through Audible in a few months. So
it's just going to be the Audible version.
It's going to be the Audible version. It's going to be a prequel all about Amber called The Last Shot. We don't have a release date yet, but short story that we were very excited to write.
That's so
Amber
interesting.
Before she went to Connecticut and met Jackson and Daphne.
Okay, so talk to me about how this works. You guys don't live in the same house. You are writing, so Lynne, you wrote as Daphne, and Valerie, you were Amber, is that correct, or is it vice versa?
For the most part, not completely.
Okay.
We each wrote in the other's parts as well. We don't write that way any longer though. Now we share everything, even sentences.
Right.
Interesting. But with this one, so how did it work? I mean, in the book, for those that haven't read it yet, it flip-flops. So you're getting each perspective flip-flops by chapter. But I mean, did you knew going in, or like, did you have an outline? I imagine you have to be very much in sync to do this effectively.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You do. You have to be very much in sync. And we do have a general outline. We have the bones of the story, and we certainly have the twist when we begin. And then we let the rest of it fill in pretty organically as we go along and as we get to know the characters better, because of course we do our character sketches after we have we've done broad strokes on the story itself, and then we develop our characters. But just as you get to know people better, the longer you know them and the more you're with them, that is how it is with characters when you're writing, I think. We both feel that way, that as you write and the story unfolds and things happen that you really never planned on and you didn't see coming, you see characters' reactions and you just get to know who they are much better. But as far as being in sync, you're absolutely right. And we speak every day. We speak every morning. We send each other scenes and we talk about what we're going to do, where we're going, the next few steps of the way, and usually we talk in the afternoon as well. So we're on the phone and FaceTime a lot.
In terms of what Valerie was saying about letting things develop a bit more organically for the characters, we do allow each other the freedom to go in a different direction than we may have discussed, because we know that we can always revise it. So if all of a sudden I happen to be writing and we thought some character is going to do one thing and it just doesn't seem genuine, or something new comes to me, I'll just go ahead and write it. I don't have to call Valerie and say, hey, are you okay with my doing this? I do it because I know if she's not, then we'll work it out and we'll either revise it, we'll edit it, and the same with her. And that allows it to be much more fluid, because to do a strict outline for us, I feel like it would make things too one-dimensional.
Gotcha. And you said now you are writing together, so it's not as much back and forth. You're both on the
The
same
back and
plane.
forth, yes, is the same. I mean, we still have to be in continual communication with each other. But for example, Lynn might write a chapter and get halfway through it and send it to me and say, I'm running out of steam here, or I'm not really sure where to go. Can you finish this? Or I will do the same with her. And then, of course, we edit each other's work as we're writing. It isn't just at the very end of a first draft. We try to, even though a first draft is one where you shouldn't have to feel like, oh, this needs to be perfect, but it still is helpful to have it be the best that you can be when you go on to the second draft. It just cuts down on the work a little bit.
My sister and I always say we have the same brain. Do you guys feel that way, that you have the same brain?
That's so funny. We're getting that way where we'll all of a sudden be talking about something and we'll both come out with the same idea or the same character name, and it gets a little scary, doesn't it? Now, do you and your sister, or do you guys work together?
Yeah, we're working together now in a professional sense, and it's good. I mean, I feel like I've never been more in sync with someone before. So in that sense, it's great. And we also don't live in the same town, so it's nice to be able to spend more time together and have an excuse other than fun, which I love. I want to talk about the adaptation of The Last Mrs. Parrish. Is that still happening?
So yeah, Amazon had the option that expired, and so now we're in talks with another production company, which we're hoping they're looking at it potentially for film. So we don't know yet.
I like that better. Honestly, when I was reading about it, I'm like, this has to be a movie. And then I saw TV and I'm like, okay, but this is an intense book. You've been compared to Girl on the Train, Gone Girl, and the story is so different. So I'm always hesitant to say that to people, but I say that in the sense that you can't put it down. So if you want a book that you cannot put down, this is that, and prepare to feel a little bit uneasy, but like in a good way.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Here.
Okay, so let's talk about your newer book, The Wife Stalker. So I haven't read this yet. I'm very excited to get into it. Brief synopsis on this one.
Wife Stalker is the story of, again, two women. The man is sort of the background in the story. Leo, he's a very high-powered attorney. And a new woman comes to town, comes east from California with a past that's, she's changed things from her past, and she really doesn't want her past to catch up with her or to be known where she is now. She wants to start this new life. She becomes very close to this attorney who is really, not available for her, according to the woman that he's with. And this woman is terrified that this new lady is going to come in, take him away, and that in fact happens. And the children, the first woman finds out that the past is one of some dead husbands, and so she's concerned about her children and the danger that they're in, and he has custody of the children. And it goes from there.
Okay, I want to ask, because this series is called The Middle, because that's my favorite place to be when I'm reading something that I love. But for you both, when you are in the middle of writing one of these psycho characters, like a Jackson, or like, someone in the new book that is not someone that the reader can identify with, where do you go? And how do you become this person? Is it based on someone? Like, who? It's so entertaining to read, but I'm just curious, like, how does that work?
It's based on one of Lynn's old boyfriends. No, I'm just kidding.
That was what I wanted to ask. Have you been wronged?
Have we been? I mean, we've certainly both met our share of, let's say, characters in our lives, and been in some of relationships that probably were less than stellar. Fortunately, that's not the case, for any long-term or marriage or anything like that. But I think, part of it's not based on anybody that we know, but we both have a fascination with psychology, and my undergraduate degree was in psychology, and I at one time thought I wanted to be a psychologist. Between that and a criminal attorney, which sort of has converged in the writing. And I have a good friend who is a PhD, clinical PhD. So we do a lot of research. We decide what is the flaw, or what is sometimes we actually even know a diagnosis of a character, and at that point we will do a lot of research, and then we'll talk to my friend Carmen and sort of say, all right, this is the scenario, how would this kind of a person react, is this authentic, and then we take it from there and just kind of go along with it.
Will you be writing on the film if that happens, or is that something that is figured out down the road?
I think we are going to, right? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, we wrote the treatment. Right, we wrote the treatment for it, and so I mean, depending, I don't think that if a production group came along and they had a writer that they felt really passionate about, we wouldn't feel like it had to be us. But I think that, you know, we have a vision for it, and so we would like to at least be able to be a part of the writing team for it if possible.
Okay, and what about casting? Do you have a dream cast in mind? Or did you see someone, maybe like a celebrity, as you were writing? Or is this what goes on in your mind when you have these characters? Do you see a picture of them?
It's really funny. I don't. I mean, I have a general picture, but that's also true when I'm reading a book. I never have a
Me too.
really distinct picture of somebody when I'm reading, unless, of course, it's a book where something like Rebecca, where you've seen a movie, and so you have that iconic actress in your head. Now, Lynn will send me photographs from the internet and say, here is Daphne, and here is Amber.
Okay.
And she's good. I mean, she picks really good ones, but I don't picture that in my head as I'm writing. And I don't know if that's something.
I don't really either.
Do you actually see?
No, I don't. I see them when I send you the pictures, but then as I'm writing, it's the same thing. It's, you know, even in the same with settings, like, I don't know. I feel like I see the same house in my head, whether I'm reading or writing all the time. So I don't know, but we don't, and typically, sometimes we'll pick movie stars. Sometimes we'll just find an image of somebody who seems to look like, just to kind of give a sense, I feel like, so we both know generally when we're describing somebody what they look like. But I mean, I think we both originally, and still would love, we always thought Reese Witherspoon would make an amazing Daphne.
Yes.
I mean, we think she would be perfect.
And we thought Jennifer Lawrence for Amber.
Yeah,
she'd be a good Amber.
But now we're thinking Jennifer Aniston would make a terrific Daphne. So, you know,
I pictured Amber with red hair. Maybe because her name is Amber.
That is so funny. She has red hair in the prequel.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you need help casting.
For a reason.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, I can't wait to see what is coming for Last Mrs. Parrish, and just from both of your brilliant minds. Thank you again for putting this out into the world and for getting me through that first early part of quarantine when I couldn't focus on anything. This was the one thing that was like my escape. So thank you.
Oh, good. Great.
Yeah, that makes us feel so good.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.